A brief overview of invoice discounting by Simon King of Wharf Financial Services. Now, it is said that in the UK, only 1 in 5 of the companies who are eligible for invoice discounting even know what it is. And there is a big difference between knowing what something is and understanding how it works. So in the next 10 minutes, I want to provide a very brief, simple, high-level overview of how invoice discounting works and how it can help small companies. Okay, so I'd like you to imagine a local brewery. They are brewing award-winning beer. They have a really good profit margin, 50%. They can't brew enough of it. Everybody loves it. And yet for some reason business is a bit slow. So let's have a look at their customers. They have 5 local customers. These customers are all good. They all pay on time. They have no problems with their credit. They are cocktail bars, pubs, shops and stores, and each one of these 5 customers has purchased £20,000 worth of beer and has 30 days credit. That's 30 days to pay for the beer. Now, this is all very good, and it's important to give your customers credit terms because they really they want to sell the product so they don't have to seek finance to buy it off you. But the problem with this is the brewery now has to wait 30 days to get paid. And unfortunately, they suffered a bit of a cash flow problem. Their bank balance is uncomfortably low, and they simply don't have enough money to brew any more beer, which is obviously very frustrating. Now, to add to their frustrations, they've just potentially won their dream order. A supermarket has telephoned them and said, we've heard about your beer, we'd like to order £170,000 worth of your beer. But we'd actually like 60 days, not 30 days, 60 days terms, because there's quite a lot of beer here. We want to make sure we can sell it okay. So, this is torture, right? The owner of the brewer thinks, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to fulfill this dream order, this fantastic opportunity. And then he has a flash of inspiration. He says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to phone that friendly broker at Wharf Financial Services, that good-looking guy with 40 years banking experience, and he calls the guy up, and the broker says, don't worry, leave it with me, it's not a problem. It's not actually quite that simple. The broker comes round, they have a chat. The broker gets a good understanding of the owner of the brewer's aspirations, the finances. They talk about the financial position of the company, and they have a look at the debtor book. See, they're all good quality debtors they've got on the book. And then the broker goes away and does his thing. He researches the market. He sees what various banks have on offer, and he brings back to the brewer a selection of offers. The brewer decides which one is the one that he likes the best. The broker goes back to the bank, and the bank says, yes, we like this brewer. We've done a credit check. We've done a credit check of the brewer's customers. We can help here. And the bank says, okay, you have £100,000 worth of invoices out to your clients. We will advance 85%. We will advance you £85,000 of those invoices. Now, this is very good news because the brewer, of course, works on a 50% profit margin, which means that with that £85,000, he can now brew and deliver £170,000 worth of beer to the supermarket. And even more than that, the brewer now has no concerns that the supermarket is asking for 60 days credit, because the brewer can now get an advance against that invoice from the supermarket. So we can now pull down 85% of that £170,000 invoice. So let's have a look. Where are we? 30 days later, the customers, who are all good customers, all pay on time. They've all paid their £20,000 into the bank account. And by the way, one of the things the bank will do when it takes the brewer on board is, as I mentioned, do a credit check on the customers. So if there are any problems, the bank can share that valuable information with the brewer. It's another benefit of using the service. So the bank's now received £100,000, and the balance on the brewer's account at the bank is just less than £15,000. Why is that? Well, the bank originally advanced £85,000 to the brewer and has now collected £100,000 of invoices. So the bank has £15,000 less the interest it charged on those 2 advances made to the brewer. So the brewer's account with the bank is at just over £13,000, but on top of that, the brewer has had an advance of £144,500, being 85% of the big supermarket invoice. So whereas 30 days ago the brewer was a bit strapped for cash, it now has a considerable bank balance. It has over £150,000, and with that it could brew £300,000 of beer, or it could go back to its suppliers and it could say, you know, all this malt, barley, hops that we've been buying, we've got some cash in our bank account, we'd like to put a bulk order in. And with a bulk order, of course, we would expect some significant discounts. And those discounts will get the costs down and the gross profit up. And now the brewer is growing its business without even putting new customers on. So there's 144,000 going in. So let's have a quick summary of where we are. So we saw originally that the brewer had sold £100,000 worth of beer. This is without invoice discounting. Its cost of goods sold was 50%, 50,000. So originally the brewer would have made £50,000 gross profit. With invoice discounting, the brewer managed to capture that big order to the supermarket, increased the sales by £170,000, so the sales now go up to £270,000. The brewer received £100,000 from its original invoices plus an advance on the supermarket invoice of £144,000. So the brewer has now received £244,500, less its cost of goods sold being 50%, less the interest charged by the bank for those two invoices, and you can see my workings down in the bottom left of the screen there, gave the brewery a gross profit of £107,643. Quite a significant increase on the original £50,000. And on top of that, of course, we have only drawn down 85% of the supermarket invoice, so we have another £25,000 that is due. So, pretty useful. Now, the thing to bear in mind with invoice discounting is there are lots of different options available. You can have confidential invoice discounting. This is very popular. It basically means that nobody knows finance is being sought against those invoices. You can have selective. Invoice discounting by its nature can be selective, i.e. the brewer did not need to seek finance on all of those invoices. It could just have done the supermarket and not bothered with the rest. It's totally up to the brewer how much it draws down. The opposite of selective is factoring, where basically the whole sales ledger is given over to a bank. The bank runs the whole thing, runs the administration and the credit control, and everything is financed. This is really useful for very small businesses who haven't really got the manpower to efficiently run their sales book. And you'll also find that banks offer sector-specific products where there are areas that they have a keen appetite for. You often see this in recruitment and in construction, but there are other areas as well. So to be eligible for invoice discounting, well, you need to be trading business to business. You won't get advances against invoices issued to personal customers. You need to have been trading for at least 6 months. You need to have established a turnover of at least £100,000, and you need to be a limited company or a limited liability partnership, not a sole trader. There is a very wide choice of lenders, and those lenders provide a wide choice of services, which comes with a wide range of pricing. So just like supermarkets, you get what you pay for. There are lenders who will provide us a premium service. There are lenders who provide a very cost-effective, cost-efficient service, if you like. What do we offer at Wharf Financial Services? Well, we will go out to the market and we will undertake in-depth analysis of the offers, and armed with the knowledge that we've obtained from talking to the customer, we will then have an in-depth discussion with the customer about what's the most appropriate choice. We will stay in touch. It is not the end of the story when our customer signs up for a facility, because we like to keep in touch. And we find that as businesses grow, an option that might have worked really well for a small startup company is just not appropriate once that turnover grows, certainly through £1 million. And finally, we will not charge any broker fees. We will receive a modest procurement fee from the lender, and that is good enough for us. There is no reason that we should want to charge any of our clients for a job that we love doing. I hope that was useful. One last point. It is possible to arrange what I call a peace of mind facility. What's a peace of mind facility? Well, there are some invoice discount facilities where the only fees you pay are interest fees. You don't pay any arrangement fees, no setup fees, no renewal fees. And as I've just mentioned, here at Wharf, we don't charge any broker fees for setting up invoice discounting. So therefore, it is possible to set up an invoice discounting facility for no cost whatsoever. It can sit in the background in case of need, in case the roof falls in case there's some unexpected, urgent requirements. And it then simply can be drawn down when required. Typically, for a facility like that, you'll pay 6% on anything you draw down. So it's quite a popular option for a lot of our clients. So I hope that was useful. Thank you for listening, and don't hesitate to get in touch if you need any help with growing your business, whatever shape or format might be. Cheers.